Hey everybody, it's your boy, Eduardo Jackson, CEO, founder, creator of the Cinema Draft game, coming to you on this extended 4th of July weekend, what have you, with a weekend review and talent pool preview. So let's get right into it. In our feature presentation, we've got a few familiar faces at the top, most notably the most familiar face. It's our all-time money winner. It's Gamble 24/7. Also doubling with the call sheet of the week in the feature presentation. so so basically it came down to this. It was an interesting week. We had some divergent strategies. We'll get into my strategy in a second, which failed spectacularly. but what won it for our boy G247, Gamble 24x7, is he had a headliner from Despicable Me, Kristen Wiig, the cheaper of the two headliners. He had he had a 4-pack of Big Sick. He had a 4-pack of Baby Driver, both of them including the headliner stack. And then he also had one, two, see, I'm sorry, yeah. So he had the dueling 4-packs plus the headliner from Despicable Me plus the Mummy, and somehow, some way, the Mummy was differential. The Mummy, which I'm not sure if showing signs of life is the right word, but it basically did 2.9 million over the weekend on 1,700 screens, 1,600 per screen average, which is not bad. Which turned out to be leading money winner in the limited release type category. So well done. Way to pluck. Well, actually, that's actually not even true. The Beguiled actually made more in limited release, but as far as value per dollar, it definitely seems like that's the one that definitely seems like it was the one value wise getting a headliner at that rate, which is what paid off, because the Beguiled was priced up. The Beguiled, I do believe, was in that's right, for a headliner was at 9,400. So just being able to just being able to go down to 6,900 for a headliner proved to be the difference. That 8.23 points at that price point really did pay off for our call sheet of the week, aka Gamble 24/7. And honestly, it was in that limited release type category, which was the difference, the 1.15 point difference over the God of Cheese and Ring Balls 22, who both had duplicate call sheets, which revolved around a similar strategy, except their point of differentiation was, instead of having Sophia Boutella as the headliner from The Mummy, they had Javier Bardem as a headliner from Pirates of the Caribbean. And Pirates of the Caribbean pulled in just a touch under The Mummy, 2.5 million as opposed to 2.9 million for The Mummy. And that was the difference, folks. That was the whole ball game. That was the difference between first and second, between $25 call sheet of the week bonus, all the attendant glory of first place money. They end up tying for second and third, so they split second and third prize money for $23.13 each. That was both Ring Balls and the God of Cheese simultaneously. And then coming in at fourth was Smee. I believe a friend of theirs, of Ring Balls and the God of Cheese. Haven't really seen any call sheets or too many call sheets of Smee recently. But Smee bringing up fourth place, very strong debut. He had he had a similar construction, only the differentiation was in limited release. Instead of Pirates or the Mummy, he had Zoe Saldana from Guardians of the Galaxy, which actually had done really well in recent weeks. But this week, Guardians of the Galaxy, on only 966 screens, was in the same neighborhood of per screen average at 1,594, as opposed to the Mummy 1,671, as opposed to Pirates 1,509. But it was only on 966 screens. 1.54 million at the box office. So that little difference was the difference between tying for second and fourth place for Smee. 285.68 points for Smee. Job well done. Welcome to the winner's circle. And rounding out our top five, guess who? Nope, it wasn't me. It was Michael Vellante at 281.22. Another strong group chat player. Just like to point out the fact that this week we had 4 of our top 5 winners were group chat members. Y'all might want to jump on that. It is free. It is open to the public. Join the group chat where we're openly discussing strategy and ways to win in the game. And so same difference, only similar construction. Despicable Me headliner, 4-pack of Big Sick, 4-pack of Baby Driver, but his limited release was Nicole Kidman in The Beguiled. Is that correct? Yeah, that's correct. Actually, I'm sorry. No, he had a 5-pack of the Big Six. Sorry, not the Big Six, the Big Sick, and then a headliner stack from Baby Driver, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I'm sorry. He had a 6-pack of Big Sick, headliner stack from Baby Driver, Kristen Wiig from Despicable Me, and then Nicole Kidman from The Beguiled. And so that difference, and also with The Beguiled, which cost a little more money. So what he basically did was he swapped out an actor from Baby Driver to afford Nicole Kidman from The Beguiled and get another one from The Big Sick, and that was the difference. Ended up at 281.22. Just about, just about 8 points off the top spot. Well done, Michael Vellante. Enjoyed that top 5 prize of $875. How did I do? Miserable. My call sheet was an utter disaster. Here we are, 9th place, just outside of what would have been the money, even if I were eligible. So my gamble was Baby Driver. I thought it'd do better than it did. It basically did 21 million this weekend. I had an 8-pack, a max stack of Baby Driver, including the headliner stack of Kevin Spacey and Ansel Elgort. I went with Zoe Kazan as a headline from The Big Sick, which actually at 5,800 on its own outscored your average actor from Baby Driver. If only I'd maxed out The Big Sick, who knows? Who knows? But actually, I still know it because I still probably wouldn't have done what I did. And then also I had Gal Gadot from Wonder Woman as a headliner. And then I had Colin Farrell in The Beguiled as a headliner with 2,600 left over. That was only good enough for 217.73 points. I had no piece of Despicable Me. It was a gamble. It was risky, but even Despicable Me coming in at 75 million, having just one headliner was enough to make up the difference. So my gamble was wrong. Sometimes we do get it wrong in this game. Another call sheet I like to look at. Going a little outside the box. Let's take a look at Cornell Westside. Our working black writer, Kevin Garnett, probably dialing it in from the set of Dynasty, the Dynasty reboot. So what went wrong here? 197.91. Well, so we had Kristen Wiig in Despicable Me as a headliner. That's smart. And then he had a 3-pack from Baby Driver with only one headliner, an Ansel Elgort, which is fairly smart. Probably could have used Kevin Spacey in there, although it looks like he's out of money. It looks like he kind of wagered on The Beguiled doing a little bit more with Nicole Kidman. And the Beguiled was a costly misfire this week. If you had The Beguiled at almost 10,000 for a headliner, that is precious money you could have used somewhere else, because Paris Can Wait, 3-pack of that did not perform. 3.64 points out of your headliner. That was running out of steam anyways. That was probably another big misfire for Cornell Westside. And then Beatriz at Dinner. While it performed highly in its lower screen counts, fanning out to almost 700 screens, you could expect what do they call it? The law of diminishing returns. Like the more you get of something, the less return you get on it, the more you have it. And that's what we saw here at Beatriz at Dinner. Only did 3.14 points in limited release, and that's a total case of if it had stayed in platform release, totally cleans up. The fact that it just trickled a little bit into limited release, and we already lost all that great box office it got when it was on fewer screens. And yeah, so 197.91, just outside the top 10. Valiant effort, by our working black writer Kevin Garnett, but no cigar this time around. That kind of seals the deal for interesting call sheets in the featured presentation this week. So let's take a look at what's coming up next week or this upcoming weekend. It's kind of a weird week. I mean, it's 4th of July on a Tuesday. Big opener with Spider-Man, and I mean, it's one of the more highly anticipated Marvel movies coming out. Kind of hard to really nail down a price on that. Excuse me. Really kind of hard to nail down a price on that. If you go to HSX, a bit of our stalking horse, it's where I like to go sometimes when I'm having a hard time figuring out what to put a value at as far as salaries go. HSX for Spider-Man Homecoming was in the neighbor. Well, come on now. Was in the neighborhood of. Seriously? Come on. How hard is this? Spider-Man. There we go. Spider-Man Homecoming opening weekend, trading at 117.63 each dollar on the Hollywood Stock Exchange. We can essentially equate to being a dollar box office gross. So they're expecting a really big opening, 100 million plus. I don't know. I mean, like, I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. Definitely is my post-block movie of the week on Thursday. I don't know. I'm feeling like this could be. It could be around 100 million. It's still going to have second week competition from sorry, blank here. It could have second week competition from Despicable Me. So because of that second week competition, I actually priced it at 28,500. Bokeem Woodbine as your cheapest actor, going all the way up to 31,000 for Robert Downey Jr. as a headliner in Spider-Man: Homecoming. I think that's fairly fair. You would be hard pressed to get. Well, I guess technically, see, 31. I guess technically you could get a headliner in from Spider-Man: Homecoming and also Despicable Me. It'll be pretty tight though. Be interesting to see what kind of call sheets revolve around that. You most likely are not getting two Spider-Mans in there. That seems pretty cost prohibitive. Yeah. Yeah, it might be doable. I don't know. It might be doable, but not advisable. I don't know. It'll be very interesting to see what kind of constructions people come up with this week. Baby Driver, I think we kept it the same. Looks like, I think Baby Driver stayed the same as far as pricing. Maybe went up 1,000, maybe a titch. Despicable Me, we dropped about 4,000. It looks like. The House. Oh, and yeah, unless I forget, I did go see The House the other day, and that actually was pretty good. Well, actually, let me take it back. The House is not a good movie. The House is a fun movie. It has cult classic elements to it, but it is wildly incoherent. It's got a lot of disparate elements that feel kind of culled from different movies. Doesn't quite know what movie it wants to be honest with you. But I enjoyed it highly. I had a good time. It's just it's kind of crazy. I mean, it's a fun movie. It uh, I mean, it's quite a showcase for Jason Mantzoukas. I guess how you say his name. Your boy from the league with the bushy beard. I mean, he's just a crazy guy. Like his characters tend to be very id based, ruled by their passions. In this iteration, he's a somewhat compulsive gambler whose marriage is on the rocks, and he's trying to win his wife back by hosting this illegal casino in conjunction with Amy Poehler and Will Ferrell's character, who, as you can see from the trailers and stuff, uh, did not have the money to send their little girl to college, who got into Bucknell. Very much a Bucknell recruiting movie, very much into Bucknell. And it basically it's kind of the type of movie that shows what happens when you let your when you let your ego run unchecked and you get a little taste of power. I mean, it's got its moments. It's not great. It's not bad. It's definitely some fun. I would rate it 2 out of 4 reels. Nice little turn there from Allison Tolman of Fargo, the TV show fame. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was just a fun little movie. But I kind of understand why it didn't connect deeper at the box office. It seems like R-rated comedies has had its day. Like, I mean, there's a spate of R-rated comedies that was kind of pushed into production, mostly off of Deadpool, and it seems like we are at the tail end of that business. The Beguiled, let's see, the Beguiled we actually held the same. Actually, I'm sorry, this is last week. Sorry, the Beguiled. Oh, since I brought it up, the Beguiled we actually lowered by about looks like by about 1,400. The Little Hours. It debuted last weekend. Didn't have enough room in the box in the talent pool for it. We have room for it this weekend. Not quite sure what to make of it. The Little Hours actually did 30,000 per screen. You can't hold up at that rate. Not sure how much it's going to expand. Kind of guesstimating at 25 screens. So if so, this could be some hidden value there for you. We'll have to take a look at when it comes to theater lock time on Thursday at 6 p.m. how many screens the marketplace estimates it'll be on. Yeah, the house, though, we did reduce it somewhat. Still might be slightly overvalued. Doesn't seem like it's going to do much. Only opened at 9 million, so you might want to avoid the house, even though for a wide release is still on the cheaper end, but it's still probably not going to get you what you think it's going to get you. And the reviews have been terrible. Actually, the Rotten Tomatoes score for the house have been uniformly terrible. I think like was 18%. It has been 19%. So yeah, it's not looking too good for Amy Poehler and Will Ferrell. Like I said, fun movie, weird movie, incoherent movie. I can see why it got what it got. 2 out of 4 reels. Let's see what The Big Sick. Yeah, we're starting to price it up. Next weekend, I believe, is when it really expands 550 screens. So this weekend, it still could be on 150, 200 screens. This right here is a guesstimate. It was on 71 screens this past weekend. Still cleaning up at the box office on per screen average. Big Sick, 23,000 per screen on 71 screens. Even if you assume, I mean, it can't keep this up, right? I mean, let's say it does 12,000 per screen on 150 screens. You're still looking at 1.8 million, 18 points baseline, or as a headliner, as you hear me click-clacking away, 25 point. I mean, we had to price it up because it's going to still be platform. It's probably still going to be the one you want in platform release. Starting at 9,000, all the way up to 9,500 for Kumail Nanjiani. I mean, it's a bit of a juggernaut, but now we're pricing it appropriately. You have to pay the cost to be the boss. There might be some. Could there be some max stacks out there this weekend with it? I don't know. It will be very interesting to see how many screens they roll it out on, in just how much the cultural zeitgeist is still feeling it. What else? Transformers is down 12,000 all the way up to 13.9 for Mark Wahlberg. Cars is just, I mean, I won't say it's tanking at the box office, but definitely not one of Pixar's strongest performers. Going to its fourth weekend, 9.6 million. It's had its run. Actually, I would say at 8,500 going up to 9,500 might be a titch overvalued. Rough Night, we didn't get any box office data on it on the estimates this past weekend. Not sure what happened to it. And for those scoring at home, since we didn't get any data on Rough Night, for those of you who had Rough Night on your call sheets this past weekend, we had to give it the minimum. I looked far and wide, could not find any box office data on Rough Night, so we had to give it the minimum, 1 point and 1.40 points. Since we couldn't get any data on it at all. So Rough Night is, I think it's at the minimum, starting at 5,000, going to 6,200 for Scarlett Johansson as a headliner, and The Hero, which we had in the talent pool 2 weeks ago, basically did nothing else. Scare's going to disappear, so I took out the talent pool, did a little bit more business, expanded 401 screens, actually did, what did The Hero do? The Hero did 847,000 at the box office on 401 screens, 2,100 per screen. Pretty good. I did not see that expansion coming, so we've got it back in the marketplace or in the talent pool. Hopefully, it'll do some business. Pricing at 5,700 for Jackie Joyner, all the way up to 6,100 as the titular hero, Sam Elliott, as your headliner. So definitely check that out. As well as the highlights, we might go over some more in the shot list, which I'll be taping later on Independence Day. That's basically going to be it for right now. Appreciate you listening to this micropod. Happy 4th of July, everyone. Enjoy your barbecues and whatnot. I will be working. It's what we do around here. We get our grind on. Make sure you support Cinema Draft. Tell all your friends about it. Cinemadraft.co. That is cinemadraft.co. Join the group chat. It's going down in the group chat. People are winning cash money. Once again, 4 of the top 5 winners this week are group chat members. It is free to play. Check it out on our Facebook page. There are links there. We tweet out links every week, about twice a week. Free to join, open to the public. Follow us, subscribe, rate us, comment, iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud, all that good stuff. Anywhere you get your podcasts and everything. And you know what? Celebrate your independence. Celebrate not going to work today. Be an American. And why don't you go see a movie or something?